Hi, my name is Laura McCulloch, and I am a tobacco treatment counselor with the UKanQuit inpatient tobacco treatment service over at KU Med. And I'm here with a few participants of the Masonic Cancer Alliance's support group and also a class. And they have been longtime members of this group, and they're here to share some of their experience with us.
I started smoking probably in earnest as a college freshman. I won't tell you how many decades ago that was, but it's been a long time. And I quit smoking abruptly on July 10th, 2022, when I had my come to Jesus hospitalization, surgery to my lungs, and have not smoked since. My wife, being a reformed smoker herself of 20 plus years, on my case for probably daily, if not hourly. I would try to go cold turkey without support, and it didn't work. And it got to the point that I would buy one pack of cigarettes a day because that was going to be my quit day. That probably lasted for many years. Even after I started this program, which was beneficial in getting me down from probably a pack a day over a period of time down to probably 6 to 8 a day.
I started when I was 10 years old, 11 years old. I'm now 73, so it's been a while. When I started, there was very little options up until probably the last maybe 10 years that the medical community really gave you any kind of options to smoke. My doctor, every time I went to my annual checkup, would tell me, oh, look, man up and go cold turkey. No options, never gave me an option to take any kind of medication or knew of any other thing. So I really put it on the medical people, mostly doctors, because they're so specialized anymore. And you don't hear a lot about smoking, which at one time was the number one killer in the United States.
Well, I started smoking when I was 14, probably was more of a regular smoker by 16. I did try, I think twice to quit, both times cold turkey. And that lasted a few months, but it didn't really take away the craving. It didn't take away the desire to smoke. And when something really stressful hit, I was right back.
Erin, can you share with us a little bit more about maybe what had motivated you to try to quit in the past?
In the past, it was mostly for my health. I didn't have any medical symptoms, but I knew smoking was bad for me. I knew it would kill me, and I was still an addict. So I was kind of in a back and forth.
So I want to just ask now, if you could talk a little bit more about this most recent quit, the one that has really stuck for you all now.
Yeah, I went through a number of different programs and tries to quit. I think the added thing was, first of all, I found out that there was medication and I went on it. And number two was that counseling that Karen offered and being around other people. I could ask Tom or other people in the deals that had quit, hey, did you guys experience this? So it really helped.
Yeah, so it sounds like, Robert, you're saying it was a couple big things. One was that one of your providers did connect you with some medication, and that was different from in the past.
No, I found that out during the live sessions. It started on when I started this program, when I asked, I think Tom and other people, did you guys try these pills? Did it work?
Okay, so it was really the group that connected you with the supports more than anything else.
Yeah.
My motivation for quitting this time was threefold. One was health considerations. The second was my doctor, unlike Robert's, was always talking to me about smoking and always reminding me that there were medications available. So I knew that I had that support. Probably the most powerful reason was to support Robert because he was really ready to quit. And I knew that if I kept smoking, that would make it a lot more difficult for him. So I kind of said, okay, yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board. Robert mentioned the information that Karen, the group leader, gave us, but it was also the encouragement, the support, the being in the same situation as the group. Group therapy of all kinds is really powerful that way, and this was exceptionally so.
I had, much like Robert, gone through the process of the nicotine control medications, but I had to ask the physician to prescribe it. But it wasn't until I had a hospital ride in an ambulance, and I asked the attending in the emergency room, did I do the right thing by taking the ambulance? And he said, yes. At that point, it was confirmed that I had to make and maintain the change if I wanted to enjoy my grandchildren, and as far as that goes, my spouse and children. I had to make that change because I think I was that close. And it's the program that gave me the tools. And Robert and Marianne are my idols because of the way they progressed systematically. And I've admired them from the get-go for being able, as a married couple, to survive that. At this point in time, I don't think I ever even think about a cigarette.
What were some of the struggles that you experienced with this most recent quit, and maybe how you were able to overcome some of those challenges you experienced?
I took Chantix for a month, and it was hugely effective. I mean, it almost wiped out my craving. However, my insurance plan charged a whole lot more for Chantix than bupropion or Wellbutrin. And if there hadn't been, I mean, the cost difference was over $100. So it was enough to get my attention. I think that the most powerful thing from the group, going back to the idea of triggers, was understanding how different people address different triggers. Hearing ideas from Tom and the other participants was just hugely powerful. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to try that. It gave you a sense of momentum so that you weren't just fixated on, I can't have this. You were fixated on, I can try this. This is a game of time. And if you keep with the time, you will win. But if you don't, you will not.
I've always had struggles. I mean, tobacco is the most addictive drug you can find, and to just throw it out there and have it sold at every popular place, the availability is there, and so it's really hard to say no. The idea of smoking is spread throughout the culture from the time when we were little kids, when doctors were having their Chesterfields, saying how, one of these helps with stress or whatever it is. It's really hard. I mean, to isolate those different levels that are in our society that are there to promote the consumption of those, and then to turn around and not have a medical person besides Karen there to help you, to me, goes against their whole oath of why they're doctors.
Tom, you also shared the huge medical scare that you experienced as being kind of a triggering event.
Well, it's an ongoing issue with my breathing. It's still motivating me to stay away from them, for sure. I'm using oxygen more than I have in the past. I'm just got to keep motivated. That's why I'm back in pulmonary rehab. I want to get back to doing the things that I enjoy. The mention of the drugs, that got me down to a point. And after I quit, I used them until the scripts ran out. And I've not had to touch those again. I know Robert and Marion use Nicorette gum to this day, I think. And that's okay. Because guess what? They're not ingesting that into their lungs. All that nasty, filthy stuff that comes with smoking. I've chastised myself for that 50 years of smoking more than once. You have to appreciate having the program here. This one got me beyond the point of never going back. I will never smoke another cigarette. I don't need it anymore.
Thank you, Tom, for sharing that powerful experience with us. Marion, would you like to share more with us about what was different this time around for you? Maybe what's kept you motivated to stay quit?
The one thing that was a lot different about quitting this time is that I didn't do it cold turkey. Robert came up with this idea of saying, okay, if you're starting at a pack a day, that's 20 cigarettes a day. This week it's 19, next week it's 18, and then down. It takes a long time, and I was part of this group the whole time, and that was really good because it kept me focused on the goal. But by then, it was kind of like, yeah, I'm ready.
I would like to thank KU and Karen. She was always looking for new ideas, and I really appreciate probably her and sorry, Carrie, but also the pharmaceutical Chantix made the biggest change. But I was ready for it. I knew that whatever I smoked up until that time was going to have some kind of impact on my health. And I thought, well, I just can't. I just don't want to spend my 70s having to deal with medical problems caused by something that I could control, that I could try to control.
What suggestions would you give to doctors or other providers about helping patients to quit?
Seeking help outside of the medical practice, going to a program like Karen's here. And one of the reasons it's so successful and powerful is we always appreciated the partial successes as a person moved on down the line. We also encouraged a person who had a relapse to come back, that it was possible. I would encourage getting people into programs like this because without it, I'm not sure I ever would have sustained my non-smoking.
I think that most clinicians understand that their patients know that smoking is bad. One thing that I would say first is really talk about the medications that are available and how helpful they can be, because people are not generally aware of that. And it makes such a big difference. And they're thinking it's all going to be on me, but it isn't. The second is absolutely refer your patients to a program like this. Your practice cannot be everything that we need, and you need to understand that. You need to research what's available. You need to have a lot of information about different locations, different times, different formats.
I was surprised, first of all, that a lot of doctors don't know about quit smoking programs, and they have patients that, are smoking now. That's what surprises me, one. Number two is insurance. Insurance companies want to fight these kind of programs that probably would save them money in the long term than anything else. I mean, having a phone call once a week with Karen or one of your clinicians, it doesn't cost as much as that, what you're going to pay for that person to be one day in the hospital.
What suggestions might you have for those that are struggling to quit now?
You could do it with a supportive group, with medication, with a counselor like Karen. You can quit. We have to be very careful about how some of our bad habits get so much caught up into popular culture, because those are the things that initiate and reinforce the reason why you're smoking.
It's a long process, but it's very doable, and it is so gratifying to be done. The inconveniences of smoking, we talk about popular culture, but popular culture makes smoking kind of, the bad people. They have to go stand on the street. They have to be out there in the rain having a cigarette, and all of that is gone. It's just so nice to be free of it.
It's not easy, but it's doable. I am perfect evidence of that. Robert and Marion are perfect evidence of that. Get help and recognize you can do it.
Thank you all for joining us and providing your experience, your very important insights, and your willingness to share that with us today.